What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Talking to the Law Benfica Podcast, episode 211. And look who's back, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cristiano Oliveira, fresh from his trip to Portugal. How you doing, man?
Great, man. How you guys doing?
Good. It's good to have you back.
Steve, como é que é, pá? Over there smiling, big old cheesy smile.
Steve Santos is here also.
I'm happy to see you. I missed you, man.
Yeah, but
We all did. We all missed you, man.
You guys blew up my phone.
I blew up your phone.
Yeah,
I think your phone. Oh, your
when
phone.
your phone blew up, we were all a little worried about you. Let's put it that way.
I think your phone blew up when you posted those pictures of the Tondela field. That was incredible. That was, and you posted that through the Benfica Podcast.
It's called highway jacking,
Twitter,
bro.
And I think that was probably the most tweets we've ever retweets, I should say, that we ever gotten on a post.
That means I'm doing my job. Well,
that's right.
So do I get a raise?
I gave you a raise already.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe I get another one.
Yeah. What do you like, Luisao? Every summer you want to get a raise?
Every summer, bro.
Well, speaking of Luisao, we'll be talking about Luisao later on tonight. But before we get into Luisao, we're going to look back at the first game of the league against Tondela that Benfica played this past weekend. We will also look ahead to the Vitoria Setubal game, and we'll discuss some rumors and answer your Twitter questions. If you want to participate, hashtag Benfica Podcast. We'll answer as many questions as we can get to. We'll try to get through the podcast pretty quick so we can get to the questions. I know that there's a lot of questions out there as far as transfer rumors and the new guys that are going in. So we'll try to get in as many questions as possible. So here we are back in the studio. Cristiano is here. Steve Santos is here. The three amigos are here. So we're going to get this started. Let's talk about the Tondela game. Benfica opened up the league against Tondela up in Tondela. 10 minutes away from your house, Cristiano, up there.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Yes.
Kind of.
Well, if you drive as fast as you do, it's definitely 10 minutes
away from Aveiro, yes.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
No, it's not.
Cristiano, you were out there. You actually went out there to find out about the tickets. I think you went out there the day that the tickets went on sale.
No, I went out there the day
the tickets went on sale for the
sausages on Monday.
Right. And you were the first one to break the story about the possible bad state of the pitch.
That was not my intentions at all. It was just I looked at the current situation of what I saw on the pitch, and I saw a couple burnt spots, and I just wanted to merely show to people what I was watching with my own eyes, just sharing with the great followers we have on the podcast. And I posted a couple pictures that the pitch, and I don't think I was too critical. I just said the pitch is not looking too good. I mean, I didn't bash them. I didn't. And then some people just decided to go on their own and add whatever they wanted to add, their insults. And there was actually a couple of Tondela supporters who came back and they weren't too pleased with it. But again, I didn't mean it in a bad way. I just wanted to share what I was seeing with my own eyes.
You were a reporter. You were reporting.
Yeah, something like that. And, a lot of people didn't take it the right way. And it got to some other people's ears, and it made it to high places and without my authorization, which is kind of nice as well.
So Record steals your pictures. And then all of a sudden there's a rumor. Record was publishing or was reporting that Benfica was considering just not playing the game, not going and reporting to the FPF or the league. Actually, this case is a league, and telling them the pitch is in no conditions for us to go, so we're not going. But then Record uses Cristiano's pictures to show the state of the pitch, never giving Cristiano.
And not just that, they also use credit. I mean, listen, it's not about me. This is about Benfica. So I want to make this short, but they also used my videos from the previous day on Sunday, the Super Cup, and I mean, look, it's great if they would have just got mentioned. You don't even have to mention me, but mention Benfica Podcast, whatever. But the fact that neither one of us was mentioned, that kind of ticked me off.
No credit.
And yeah, so they just decided to go ahead and take the videos and pictures, which is not very nice.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it wasn't meant to criticize anyone. It was just meant to show the state of the pitch. And people at Tondela were very nice. I spoke to a bunch of people in the front office, got to meet the president. It was amazing how I was just able to drive up in there with no security, nobody, and just everybody opened their arms to me.
No via treina en porta fechada, that's for sure.
No, there actually was, but
you were able to see it.
They were kind enough to yeah, exactly. They were kind enough to let people watch. One of the assistant coach came over and said, "Listen, Petita's, not a fan of you guys watching, but stay here 10, 15 minutes and then you guys can move. Nobody moved, but they were nice enough. They were nice enough to ask and stuff like that.
Good old Petit.
Yeah, really nice little stadium. Had a good experience. So
good. Did he send you up on the roof to try out the roof to see if it would hold a person up there in case he got thrown out of the game and went up on the roof to check out the game?
That's all recently renovated. That's all brand new concrete. So I don't think he needed me to go up there. And plus, if I were to go up there right now in my current situation, it probably would have caved in. It would have caved in. So.
All right, let's turn our attention to the game. I'll give you the lineup real quick and we'll get started at talking about the game. Julio Cesar, Nelson Smith, Luisao, Lindelof, and Grimaldo were across the back, facing Andre Horta in the middle of the pitch, Pizzi on the right, Servi on the left, and Gedge and Mitroglou right in the front line. Of course, Jonas had gotten hurt, and as we found out before the game, a few days before the game, that he underwent surgical procedure to remove some bone or calcium fragments that develop in your ankle as you go through certain injuries, ankle twists and ankle sprains, and you never really heal it properly. There's these calcium deposits that develop around your bone, and over time it could be something that's painful. So he had a surgical procedure to remove those. As far as we know, 4 or 5 weeks was the prognosis as far as how long he's going to be out. So it shouldn't be too long before we see Jonas.
A couple of things. One, I was surprised that they waited this long to actually go ahead and have this surgery, because this wasn't like one of those things overnight. All of a sudden, I feel this little pain, and so let's go have it scoped out now. So to me, I thought they should have had this looked at a while back. And second of all, he got called up to the Brazilian national team today for their friendlies, or I don't know if it's official games, but whatever, for their games on September 1st and September 6th. Now, doubt he'll be a participant in those events because obviously he won't be at 100%. But that's good news. If they're calling him up, that means that he's close to coming back 100%.
Yeah. But Steve, if you're going to have a procedure that could potentially have you playing pain-free as far as that problem for the rest of the season, if you want to undergo that procedure, it's in the beginning of the season.
Oh, for sure. Well, like Chris says, that can't be something that just materialized overnight. That must have been a pain that he was having, unless it escalated to a point at that point where he had to do it. But you would have liked to believe that if he had those pains at the beginning of the season, he should have been looking it up with the doctors and getting it done back in July, not in the first week of August. But
in July,
it is what it is. That is definitely, you want to get it looked after now at the beginning of the season rather than in the middle of the season where you're trying to really cement your place in the league and whatnot. So that's for sure when you want it to happen. But
in July, you also got the Copa America that you're trying to prepare for, and obviously,
but he's been back. He's been with the team for at least 3 weeks. So if you would have had the surgery the first week he reported from his Copa America participation with Brazil, right now he'd be coming back right now rather than missing the first 3-4 games of the season, which to me makes absolutely no sense. But then again, we don't know all the details. Maybe this flared up overnight and he just couldn't take it anymore, and so they decided to go ahead and have it done now rather than later. Maybe
it's been suggested, and you've always said, well, let me play through it because right now it's probably not as bad. And now finally he said, you know what, we need you ready for the season. Let's just do this now. So that's probably what happened. So Gedge was in there, and Steve, we had seen Gedge during the preseason getting a lot of time behind the forward, so it was logical that Gedge was in there. But let's talk about the game. Small pitch, a Tondela team who wasn't taking advantage of the pitch as far as positioning themselves in the back and closing off spaces. Their whole attitude was to come out and really press Benfica. Of course, Benfica, that doesn't really have the routines yet of a mid-season form, had a hard time getting past this pressure, and also because the field was small, it was a lot harder to find guys in open spaces.
Oh, for sure. I mean, if a team's playing at that type of tempo and intensity on a small pitch like that, the spaces are even smaller. I mean, to find the passing lanes that you need to bring the ball forward becomes a lot more difficult. This is obviously something that we struggle with to begin with. It's not a forte of ours by any means, the first phase of construction. So, or what Petit set up to do was probably especially at this stage of the season, the best option. I mean, he could have sat back and defended and waited for us to come on to him and really made things tight towards the back end of the field, ceded possession more towards us, but that we may have eventually just pummeled them like over and over again with long shots or whatnot. So given what he's seen versus Braga and what we've seen under Rui Vitoria and the way we build out from the back, it was a smart move by Petit. And that game was played at an insane pace. I mean, the first 5-10 minutes was just like blood, guts, and thunder, or whatever you call the English league, because that's what it reminded me of. It was just like ball back and forth, no time on the ball, lots of misplaced passes, lots of chances created on both ends. It was, I guess, for a neutral, it'd probably be a good game to watch. But like Rui Vitoria said at the end of the game, that's not the type of game that coaches like to be part of, because you always want to have a higher level of control than what we saw in the first half, especially.
I'll tell you guys this much. If Tondela plays the way they did against Benfica throughout the rest of the season, they'll have no problem staying up in first division and staying up in the top 12 to 10 teams in the league. I mean, I thought they played really well. Benfica got lucky at the beginning of the game. Tondela definitely created their occasions. And so, like Steve said, I thought for a neutral, I thought it was a pretty good game to watch.
And Cristiano, you happened to be at the game. You were sitting in one of the ends. What is, on a small pitch like that, what does it look like? I mean, it's a lot different when we're watching on TV where, there's certain camera angles that you're watching, but you're sitting at one end and you could see everything develop. You could see how spaces are being occupied. What feeling did you get when you're watching that in such a small pitch?
I thought that the players did well. I thought that they tried to play the ball quick, 1-2 touch, but a lot of times you saw some of the Benfica players not having that space. And like you guys said before, it's the beginning of the season. They're still holding on to the ball because they didn't have that rhythm in them yet. And so they struggled a little bit, but it was just very interesting to see the few parts that I could see when the guys in front of me weren't standing up and weren't singing. But yeah, it was a very interesting game. I thought Benfica struggled to find their space. And as the game went on, I thought Benfica were able to control the game a little bit better. But like I said before, I thought they were very fortunate not to concede and not to get behind Tondela there, even early in the first half.
Yeah, Julie says he had a couple interventions where he did very well for us, blocking a couple shots. We had the fortunate event of having Luisao come off in the 26th minute with an injury. He felt something, and the explanation from Vitoria after the game was that that Luisao had felt something and didn't want to really risk it. So and Luisao, again, is a veteran that knows these things. So he did come out. Lisandro comes in 13 minutes later. We're scoring. Lisandro's getting on the board.
But before Lisandro gets on the board, that was a blessing in disguise, because I thought Luisao was getting beat down the wings every time he tried to come in and cover for Nelson Smith. He kept getting caught out of position. So I thought that the substitution and bringing in Lilo, I thought that was a good substitution. I know he had a couple hiccups, but I thought nonetheless he was spectacular. I thought he played very, very well throughout the game.
Well, first he didn't warm up as well as he should.
But you could tell though.
There's still some rustiness.
Not just that. You can tell he was at a different speed. You could tell that the difference in quickness between him and Luisao. You could tell night and day. The minute he stepped onto the field, you could tell it was very, very noticeable. Yeah. On the other hand, though, the conspiracy guys will come out and say Luisao tied up his move to Wolverhampton, and so he didn't want to risk it, so he has to be subbed.
I don't know about that. I think they were, back then it was still a little bit too early on this Wolverhampton talk, which we will get into in a little bit.
Absolutely.
But the thing about it is that, and we've talked about this, and I think last week we spoke about Luisao and the choices that Rui Vitoria had to make in the back line, Steve. And we thought that Luisao, as far as speed goes, regardless of whether his positioning sense perhaps makes up for some of the speed, but with some of these teams that are going to play on a counter, he's going to be found out a lot, and especially with backs that take off like Smedu, which was the side that he was covering, as Cristiano mentioned. Luisao is going to get found.
Yeah, it's especially in games at the beginning of the preseason or not the preseason, beginning of the season, even at the end of the season, it seems like games are a lot more about instead of playing like a controlled, calm, thoughtful game, you're playing a lot more like on instinct, a lot more on edge and whatnot. So
Control chaos.
Luisao isn't in his element in that state.
Yeah.
You know, even if the game is like 100 miles an hour and everyone's really just like going at it, Luisao isn't really at his element. He's going to be caught for pace a lot more often because he's not getting the proper protection from Nelson Semedo, from Fesa, from Andre Horta, or whoever it would be. The mechanism isn't there to protect Luisao's lack of pace, so that he could use, like we said in the first game, so he could use his knowledge and his positioning sense. When there's games like that and it's all about like 100, like just speed, just pure out passion, Luisao's going to get caught out. And the moment that Lisandro came on, I felt, at least watching the game, I was a lot more assured.
It steadied.
The game just steadied. There was another guy in the back with pace. There was another guy in the back who's a little bit more comfortable on the ball than Luisao was. There was less of the big long ball up front. It looked a lot better when Lisandro came on. There's no doubt about it for me.
The one thing about Lisandro once he came on, guys, is the guy plays every ball at 100% at all times. He's my guys may cortar.
Dangerous sometimes, though.
It is. But dude, even like the simple stuff where he could come and he comes in and you could tell the guy means business. I really enjoy watching him play, and especially being that close. Also, Lindelof, that guy. I know he had a couple of hiccups. And at times he looked a lot more nervous on the ball than I had seen him up to this point at any time. But I thought you could tell the kid he's at another level. Grimaldo, nice player. I like him going forward. Still not sure about him defending. Even though I did like what I seen from him, but then again, let's remember it's against Tondela. We still need to see him up against the top echelon wingers. And then the other guy is Nelson Semedo, who guys, with the ball at his feet, the kid's got a lot of skill. You could tell he's very comfortable on the ball. Sometimes way too comfortable, especially in the back. I like my defender to get rid of the ball a lot quicker than he does, but the kid, he's an absolute beast with the ball at his feet. He's got nothing but skill in those feet. So I was very impressed with what I saw at the Benfica back line. And the other guy that I came away very, very, very impressed. I know you want to talk about the goals and stuff, but I figure since we're talking about individual players, I just jump into this. And the other guy that to me I was very impressed, and every single one of us here has praised this guy at some point, is Feja. The guy, he's tremendous at recuperating balls. The guy is in the right position at all times. He barely gets beat. And I know, guys, it was against Tondela, but nonetheless, first game of the season, and you could tell the guy is ready to battle. If this kid is healthy, not a kid, but if this guy is healthy, he's an absolute monster in the Benfica midfield. That's
right. Steve, I want to talk of a change that Rui Vitoria did right before the half, which was switch Gonçalo Guedes to the right and put Pizzi behind the forward.
They switched to a 4-5-1.
Yeah, 4-2-3-1, 4-5-1, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It was all about control. We were lacking that bit of control, and I think by getting Pizzi in a starting position in the middle of the pitch, they thought they'd be able to connect with him more often than that starting position out wide. Gonçalo Guedes, when he gets the ball, he's got different intentions than Pizzi as well. He wants to run with the ball and make things happen immediately. Pizzi, after already being 1-0 up, he's going to get the ball. He's going to distribute it a little bit better. He's going to make sure we keep hold of it a little bit longer. That was my take on it. It wasn't really a change saying, okay, we're going to do this because we're going to really hurt Tondela by doing this, by putting Pizzi behind Mitroglou. I think it was more about gaining that little bit of pause that Pizzi gives you and trying to bring the game more down to a pace that's a little bit more manageable than the way it was prior to that.
Steve, it was totally all about control. Totally all about control in the midfield because Benfica had lost control in the midfield. Gonçalo Guedes is not meant for these small pitches, and I've said this on numerous occasions. I think the kid has all the physical tools to be a very good player, but unfortunately, I still don't think his feet have caught up to his speed. And in a small park like this, the guy never played very simple play. He never played a 1-2 ball. He always hold on to the ball, put his head down. He needs to work on that. And most of the times he get the ball, he'd either get fouled because he held on to it, or he'd turn it over. So I was not surprised when Speezy came into the middle because obviously he could hold on to the ball a little bit better than Gonzalo Guedes. And it allows Guedes to really show off his physical skills down the wing and get to the ball and just go because that's more what suits his style. So, yeah, I did like that move, even though you guys know I'm not crazy about PZ. I sat there, and it's amazing because I'm not the only one. Like, everyone around me, every time PZ touched the ball, is just filled up, and covered and all. And just for all the good things he does, he also does a lot of bad things that you just ask yourself, like, what is he trying to do, man? Yeah. But it worked out in this case. Vitoria pulled the right strings, and it worked out in the first half.
Yeah.
Pizzi did not have a good match. There's no two ways about it. He did not have a good match.
I mean,
it's one of those matches where he misexecutes a lot. I mean, he still gave us all the things that Pizzi brings to us, all of the pause and all of the associative football that we need, because let's be honest, Rui Vitoria's system does not have enough of that implemented into it. But when he's not on form and things aren't clicking, it seems like every second pass is off. Every second or third touch is off. I don't know if it's a confidence thing or what, but that's a very common occurrence in Pizzi's game. And that's why we get into discussions and arguments about how good his feet really are. It's because of games like the ones we just saw.
The guy, listen, Alfredo laughs every time I say it, but the guy's got $1 million mind and $10 feet. When he
it's like the Bionic Man.
When he pulls it off, you're like, wow, okay, you kid's spectacular. But then you watch him play the rest of the game, you're just banging on your head. What the hell was he doing? But in this game, listen, they needed more possession in the middle, and he kind of worked well. I thought Andre Horta in the first half was a lot more involved in play than he was in the second half. A little bit disappointed by his performance in the second half because I thought Benfica really needed his presence in the middle of the field, more control. Benfica giving up the ball a lot more to Tondela. Came away with that spectacular goal, which it was a great run. Not crazy about the finish. It was a straight blast down the middle. I would have liked to see him place it in the corner.
Jesus,
but again,
buddy.
But that's me. I'm picky. But you guys know that by now. But just my thoughts on the game.
You're like that guy who gets a picture from that super hot girl on Instagram, and he criticizes the size of her forehead.
No. I don't know what you're talking about. Listen, it was a great run. Reminiscent of the great Rui Costa and the body style and the shoulder dip and everything. But the finish, I mean, straight down the middle. It was a great finish.
It was a finish that went with the rest of the game. It was all
it was just
it was all passion and emotion. But it mashed that thing. Wherever it goes,
the goalie fell to the side. The goalie stood tall. It would have hit him in the chest. So not being critical. Listen, it was a beautiful goal. But I'm anal. I like to put in the corner. I thought, because he was by himself in front of the goal. He didn't have to do that. But at the end of the day, he scored and it went in and gave Benfica that relief that they needed because Tondela was putting on pressure. They were definitely putting on a ton of pressure. Yeah, and I just skipped the whole game. Alfredo wants to.
No. I'm good with that because look,
because we're cut off time here in the podcast.
The game was a lot of what we mentioned. Small spaces. Tondela playing eye to eye with Benfica. Benfica lacking some of the sharpness from a lot of guys, not just Pizzi. And then, getting the goals, shoring up some of the defense and getting that second goal by Andre Horta. But I want to talk about Andre Horta, 19-year-old Andre Horta, who a lot of people have resembled him or just because of his running style, his gait, if you will, his socks.
Roll down socks.
That was my style.
Or very short shin pads, I guess.
And it's very reminiscent of a number 10 that we all know and love.
He doesn't have the Ginga, though, but yes.
He has a little bit of Ginga, man.
Not of that number 10. That's what I'm referring to.
He has a Ginga. He's only 19 years old. Okay. But, all right, let's talk about...
Bro, you guys keep throwing this at me, bro. And I'm sorry. And I've had it. Every time I talk about Guedes, he's 19. Listen, guys. I don't know about you, but me, as a 19-year-old, I can tell if you got the feeder. You're not going to get it after 19, bro. You get it at 13. You don't get it at 19. So he's good. I'm not knocking Horta. All I said when you say he's reminiscent of the number 10, I say he doesn't have the Ginga that number 10 had. That's all I'm not saying he doesn't have Ginga, but he doesn't have the number 10 that. But then again, not a lot of players in the world have what Rui Costa had. So let's
Vamos ver.
I'll have to side with Chris. It's Rui was at a different level, and you could see it almost immediately. what you have to give a lot of credit for to Andre Horta for is when we all signed him. You're all looking at the kid, and then I read it in the paper today. Everyone was expecting him to go back to Setubal more than likely on loan. He was gonna get his look in at the side, but a kid that was at Setubal last year, 19 years old. He played quite a bit of football, but he didn't look like, no one was saying he was the next Rui Costa at that point. The kid came to Benfica and really just took the opportunity by the horns and is giving it his all in every match. And he's really just like I read in what's Red Pass the other day. It's like one of us went out there and scored the goal. The guy is such a passionate fan that watching him on the field, you fall in love with the guy, whether or not he's got the same feet that Rui Costa did or not. Given his backstory, left the club at 15 or 16 years old because he thought he wasn't going to make it. Him and his brother go to Setubal. And now he's back and he's really taking his opportunity. The story's great. And then you get performances like the one in the Super Cup, which I thought was pretty good. And then you get the goal in the match versus Tondela. And of course, there's an uproar for the kid. There's got to be. I mean, that's the dream that we all have, is playing for our childhood club. And he's living it right now.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. I think that he is the fan in all of us. He's the type of kid, and like all of us, that we're sitting and we're watching the team play, and you kind of have that desire to go in there because you feel that at least you could put a better effort as a Benfica fan and as someone that wants to play with the love that he plays. And this is just, I think this connects a little bit to Bernardo. I think that Bernardo, if he was still at Benfica, he would probably be having the same type of emotional outpours.
100%.
As he's winning games for Benfica, as he's doing things for Benfica to win, he would have the same emotional outpours.
Agree with you 100%, but I do think that in this case, Horta, I think it's a little bit different. I think people have that sympathy for him because he was shown the door. And now he's back, and I think a lot of people feel for him because, like Steve said, when we signed him at the beginning of the season, I tell you, I had no confidence that the kid was going to make the roster. I thought it was going to be another one of those Pele signings that they sign him and they loan him out, and you never see these kids again. So, hats off to him for making the team and playing well. But I think, as you said, Bernardo will get the sympathy from the fans, but I think this is a little bit different because, again, he's coming back, and a lot of people are like, yo, this kid's fought. He's gone away and he's done his best and he's back. And so I think people have a little bit more patience with him if he has a little rough stretch or something, because you could tell he's a true Benfiquista, man, die hard.
Absolutely. So that's it for the game. Also, we've been getting some messages on Twitter that YouTube is going in and out and reloading and freezing. I can assure you it's nothing different that we're doing here on our end.
The best way to fix it is to throw your computer out the window.
Well, I mean, you could always catch this on iTunes as usual, the audio version. I know it's not as entertaining in seeing Cristiano doing his thing live and watching him, but you could always catch this. And my apologies if things are kind of going a little bit haywire on your end as far as people are watching live on YouTube. So our apologies go out to you guys. First win of the season, very important to start with the win, especially away. And I read some kind of a stat, Steve, that Benfica hadn't won a game away in the past 12 years. I don't know if that's true or not.
To start the season.
To start the
season.
Yeah, as a home opener.
I read the same thing.
Not a home opener.
I read the same thing.
Season opener.
As a season opener.
On the road. On the road, Benfica hadn't won a game in 12 years. And I'm not saying that they lost every single game, but that there's been some ties in there and stuff. So it's good that we get the win, the first win of the season.
I know that until last year, Benfica hadn't won like the opening game of the season the last 5 years under JJ or something like that. Last year, bro. So I know that, but the road won 12 games. That was rather surprising to me.
Yeah. So.
Don't know the facts, but if you say so, Capitan, we take your word for it.
Very important.
Just make sure you watermark it.
Very, very important to get the first 3 points of the season, the first game, especially away, as I've said. Now you go to Stadio de Luz and you've faced Setubal. Setubal is coming off a 2-0 win over Bolonenses. The game takes place this Sunday, 8:15 local. Last 5 games at Stadio de Luz, 4 wins for Benfica, 1 tie. Last 10 games between the two teams, 9 wins, 1 tie. José Cruzeiro is a coach. We've already faced Setubal once this preseason. in Algarve, and we tied up. We all know that José Coceiro is a talented coach, knows how to set up his teams. He also has a team that has quite a few players that have been loaned out by both Sporting and Porto, and also Benfica. Of course, the Benfica players won't be able to play.
But Bruno Varela, if he's back from,
Bruno Varela is permanent.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm say. Varela,
I think Fabio Cardoso is as well.
Fabio Cardoso is permanent also.
Okay, so those guys will be able to play. Nuno Santos won't, but if Varela's on the team, because obviously he was just participating in the Olympics, not sure if these guys are going to get a couple-week break or not, if they're going to get reintegrated right into the team. But if he's right into the team, he'll probably start against his former club, which would be very exciting for. He's going to want to prove them guys wrong.
Yeah, Varela worked very hard in that game against Germany. I could tell you that much. So he might be tired.
Getting the ball out of the back of the net.
No, he might quite have. If it wasn't up to him, and it could have been a lot uglier than 4-0. But anyway, that's a story for a different podcast. As the guys from the Three Tugas have discussed about the Olympic national team. A big shout out to those guys. Anyway, so Horta's former team comes into Stadio Luz this coming weekend, Sunday, as I've said. Steve, it's not going to be an easy game for Benfica. Horta. Setubal has a young team, well organized, but Benfica playing at home. I very much doubt that this won't be a sellout for Benfica, especially with a lot of immigrants, as someone said last week. About the immigrants flocking to the fields and filling up the stadium. I think it's a chance for them to get out there to Stadio Luz. And Hugo Stapad, big shout out to Hugo Stapad. He's going to be there. Hugo Stapad was looking for you, but I told him you're already back in the States. So it's going to be a tough game for Benfica, but I think that playing at home and playing with the space that we have, let's hope that we could get on the right foot, Steve.
Yeah, a game versus Setubal at home is never a game where we're expecting anything but a win. Setubal's got a few nice players here and there, nothing out of this world. I would probably venture to say that Nuno Santos is one of their best players, and he's not going to be able to play. Andre Claro looks nice at times. I think we were linked with both Andres in the summer, so Claro and Horta. So keep an eye out for him. They got a defender at the back named Venancio that I've always kind of liked. So
it's Venancio's son.
Venancio's son
that used to play for Sporting. That's his kid.
There you go. See, you know more than me. I didn't even know there was a Venancio that played for Sporting. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, you're not supposed to know things about Sporting.
So yeah, it's a game that we have to play at a very high level. I would expect similar intensity levels to the game that we just saw on the weekend, unless Benfica are to score early. If they do not score early, I would expect more of that same passionate approach to the beginning of the season from Setubal that we saw from Tondela.
Yeah, and the reports from Benfica camp is that Júlio César should be available to play. Ederson played. I think he was either this Monday. Benfica played the scrimmage match against Real Massamá. Was it today? Was today?
No, it was yesterday.
It was yesterday.
Oh, yesterday.
Where both Ederson played. Ederson played the second half, and Zivkovic was also back at 100%, and he also played some of it.
10 minutes.
So it's encouraging. For those of you who were worrying that Paulo Lopes would have to be in goal against Setubal, it's encouraging that Ederson's been getting some minutes, scrimmage minutes, and that Júlio César's injury might not be that tough after all, or that
worrisome.
Worrisome.
There you go. That would work.
Benfica did win that game, by the way, 3-1. 2 goals from Jimenez and 1 from Toto Salvio. Like you said, my man Zivkovic is back. That's who I'm really excited to see, because I absolutely love Servy's feet. The dude, very skillful, very, very. I can't wait to see what he could do with a lot more space to Stadio Luz. Very young, very raw. You could tell he's only going to get better. I'm very excited to see him, his evolution over the next couple of seasons, because I think he stays at Benfica 3 years max, and then he's gone, because the kid, he has all tools. The only thing that worries me about Servi is he's about this tall, dude.
He's a little guy.
He's a midget. He is an absolute midget. But very good player. And the other guy, I mean, I talked about this guy from the minute Benfica signed him, Zivkovic. I'm very, very, very excited to see what this kid can do.
We haven't seen a lot, but we're all very we have a lot of anticipation to see this kid play.
One thing
in
I'm
action.
excited about him being healthy and having the Servis of the world and these guys is that there's one less spot for Carcella, so hopefully he'll ship his ass out.
And Talishka.
And Tarapt.
Não faz o Tarapt. Tarapt e Ola John
speaking
são
about
coisas sérias.
spots, I was having a conversation with Bruno from Lateral Esquerdo.
Dropping names.
Shout out to Bruno from Lateral Esquerdo.
Oh,
We got to get Bruno on the pod, by the way.
He brings up a very good point. You're not going to be able to keep Salvio and Carrillo and all these guys happy without getting more than 20, 30 minutes and a good opportunity to show what they can do. The game on the weekend where Samaris comes in, I don't know, man. Servi was not playing well. You could have done it a little bit differently.
I agree with you.
Well, but you
could have brought in a Salvio or a Carrillo. Carrillo didn't make it to the Peruvian national team, and I bet you in Carrillo's mind he's the best Peruvian player.
No.
Steve, but
at the moment.
Steve, the problem they had was Luisao getting hurt. That was a forced substitution. I think that threw a wrench into it.
And then he had to make another substitution because we were losing the midfield.
Yeah, he brought in Samaris, just rolling people over.
Yeah.
And Samaris is brutal. Man.
It's your boy, Steve.
Let's get into the topic of the day, I guess, and which was today. I think Diário de Notícias or Jornal Notícias.
It was yesterday, bro. Came out last night.
Last night.
Yeah. Well, it's today already in Portugal. But
right.
Right now, it's not today in Portugal. Right now, it's Wednesday in Portugal.
Yeah.
So we'll just go last night.
I got you.
It's easier, right?
It's like,
all right.
Thanks, Dr.
Like
Brown.
who's on first, right?
Yeah. So it's rumors that Luisao is headed over to Wolves in the English Championship. Apparently, Luis Vitoria, there's the men's connection. We've been talking about this for the past 3-4 pods. So if you haven't really heard it, check out the pods. But apparently, from what I understand and from what's being reported, they're only waiting for the yes from the player. And Steve, there's a couple things. There's a couple ways to look at this. Obviously, the money would be attracting to him. He's losing a little bit of room in the Benfica backline. We talked about this in preseason. But what do you see? The thing that bogs me, and I wanted to run by you guys, and look, no disrespect to Wolves at all. I just think that I'd probably be okay if he went and played in an MLS in China or, in the Saudi Arabia. I don't know about going and playing in the English Championship.
Well, here's a couple things. First, I'll pat myself on the back. Steve,
why is that?
You'll go right. You'll go right out.
You don't need to do it. I'll do it.
Pat myself on the back because I sit here last summer that I thought last year would be Luisao's last season at Benfica because I thought he'd leave for a payday. Didn't think it would happen at this point. If you'd have asked me 3 days ago, I would have said, no, he stays. But now, I guess I need to pat myself on the back. If he does leave, I was right last year. But now, all jokes aside,
right. If he does leave, do I get to remove those pats from the back?
Yes, absolutely. But that being said, if he does leave, it still is for a payday. Wolves he's going to be the first, according to reports, the first player to earn 100,000, 100K a week in the championship. So it is a payday. It's very sad to see him leave, but I can't get on Benfica.
No.
If it's his choice. And I think at this point, guys, let's be realistic. If you remove the emotion, if you remove the sentiments towards Luisao, he's, the guy's your fourth best central. He probably doesn't have a spot. And maybe this kid Kalaika at this point is not mature enough and not the experience, but maybe more physically ready right now than what Luisao is to play as that fourth or that fifth defender. So Kalaisa, same crap. So if you remove all that, he's not a good, how do I put it? He doesn't have a spot on this team at this point. So I'm sad to see him leave because that's our capitão. But at the same time, I totally understand, man. 100%. He's going to get paid. He's going to get his final payday. His wife posted on Instagram last night that
you follow his wife?
No, but I did see it on Twitter. Some people were retweeting it.
I do too.
Yeah, she said
I was just surprised you did.
She said that the things. No, I don't. The things are the best thing. The best things are yet to come. Something along those lines. and stuff like that. So it's kind of like saying a goodbye. I don't know. But I can't really get on Benfica, man. If it is indeed his decision to leave, and I mean, let's be honest, the guy's maybe sitting there and saying, bro, I don't have a spot on this team. Like when Jardel comes back and he saw the way Lisandro played this weekend. Lisandro played really well.
Lindelof.
With Lindelof, obviously, he's a guy to me is an absolute stud, a guy that I criticize, and I'll eat crow. I got no problem saying it. But maybe the guy just sees the writing on the wall and he says, bro, it's about time I just go ahead and get my payday, and I'll be back at Benfica in 2 years as an ambassador.
He's being a big
part
man.
Of the family. Steve, go ahead, man. I didn't let you talk. Go ahead.
Chris, there's not much I can add to that. First part I'm going to add is I'll only believe it when I see it.
Right. This is all speculation.
The second part,
it is getting some traction.
The second part I'm going to add, if Luisao leaves, it's because Luisao is okay with leaving. I very much doubt the club is question. I'm quite confident in saying that. I do not believe that Luis Felipe Vieira is pushing him out of the club at this moment.
I'm with you.
That's all I really have to say. I mean, all of the other points you guys made is what it comes down to. If he could see the writing on the wall, there's better center backs than him at this moment. There's money out there to be made. Hey, how could we fault him for wanting to do that?
Yeah. I just, maybe the championship, but I mean, if you're making money with the championship is
money's money,
bro. Guys,
the championship is equal to the Chinese league if you think about it.
Alfredo, he's 35 years old.
I know.
Coming off an injury, and I laugh at
14 seasons.
I laugh at 13. This will be his 14th. I laugh at the people who say, "Oh, he was out all last year." Guys, it's a broken arm. I mean, let's be realistic. It wasn't like he had a broken leg, but nonetheless, he was out. He's 35, bro. You clearly can tell, especially after this weekend against, mediocre Tondela, that he doesn't have the same speed that he once had. So I think he'll probably struggle in the championship because over there, que la merda só correr y andar para frente, shooting y correr. I think he'll struggle.
Yeah,
and,
I think so
with
too.
that style of play as well. So I think he's just looking at $100K a week. And
that's
for
nice.
2 years, go make your money.
$2 million, I heard. $2 million a year.
I mean, dude,
gross.
But what's he making? I mean, he's making around 1.5, if not north of that at Benfica now. So I mean, it's not really that big.
But he's going to get to play.
Yeah, that's the thing.
All right. So I mean, if he does leave, and like Steve said, we'll believe it when we see it confirmed. We have nothing but good things to say about Luisao and to be grateful for the many years of service that he's given to Benfica. It's very rare that you see a player stay at the club for this long and play at the level that Luisao has played all this time. Like 13 seasons, like Cristiano says. So if he does leave, we'll have a little bit more. We'll talk about it a little bit more.
Guy leaves with a ton of badges on his shirt. He's got more titles in 13 years than Sporting does in 40. So, I mean, that's a lot to be happy about.
He'll be idolized for forever, I think. I think right now, Luisao is probably one of the immortals of this club. He's a guy that will be remembered.
He's the foreigner with the most appearances and stuff like that. He'll definitely be in the record books. And again, I think this guy will be one of those legends you'll see around the club. I like Shaw. I don't know if I found
he's a classy individual.
Yeah, he'll be around, and it is what it is, man. At the end of the season, at the end of their careers, the guys go for paydays. They go to places where they get a lot more playing time. And Benfica's at a level now that they're competing for titles. They're trying to do good things in the Champions League. It's not the Benfica of 94 to 2005 where they were content with just having any type of international play at any position at the time. So Benfica right now has high expectations, man. And right now, unfortunately, Luisao does not meet expectations. And so he sees the writing on the wall. He wants to go get paid. Sayonara, appreciate everything you've done. And if I see a style to lose, I'll buy you a
caipirinha.
Caipirinha. Yeah. Vamos lá, cara.
Yeah. So that's it. Couple confirmed things. The Polish kid, Davidowicz, went to German second division Bochum with a loan with an option to buy. So Benfica obviously doesn't count on this kid if he's if they're loaning him out with the option to buy.
They signed the other kid, Pedro Delgado, today.
From Inter.
Inter Milan, a kid that grew up at Sporting Clube Portugal, went on to
Sporting. I thought. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Sporting.
I'm always right, guys.
You're right. There's a rumor of Monaco being interested in Salvio for 20 mil. I'd say pocket that 20 mil. Just give us Bernardo back and take Salvio.
Well, let's not forget Bernardo as of tomorrow become cup tied. So All those rumors of him coming back to Benfica, just put up to rest, guys. He's not coming back. He's not going to come back.
So
He'll be cup tied as of tomorrow, and it's a wrap.
Chris just dropped it on you.
I mean, listen, as much as I like Bernardo, everybody needs to get over it, man. He's gone. He's gone.
Jonas was cup tied too when we got him. Jonas.
That guy was free, though.
Yeah, he was free. He's the best free we've ever got.
Yeah. Máquina.
Stolas. Let's do some Twitter questions.
Vai lá.
There's quite a few of them here, and this kid at Pedge21 wants to know what Steve Santos' favorite bacalhau dish is.
Okay, the one that everybody knows is a braj. I had some crazy good one at a restaurant in Porto that was...
Steve, don't answer that. This is a soccer podcast. What are you talking about, Steve? Come
just on. Say bacalhau algareiro, batatas al murro, and let's go. Move it. Well, that's the best one anyway. I'll answer for you, Steve.
Pete Domican, which central defenders will be left at Benfica when the transfer window closes? Steve, let's go with Cristiano.
Steve.
Steve already answered the bacalhau question.
You didn't answer. I answered for him. Vai lá, Steve. I'll answer this for you too if you want.
How many? Did he say 4?
Which central defenders will be left at Benfica when the transfer window closes? Pete Domican.
My gut tells me Luisao, Lindelof, Lisandro, and Kalaika, or whatever his name is. I think Jardel's the one that's going to get sold.
So I just spent the last 15 minutes talking about Luisao, even for you to pick him on the team.
Dude, I'm thinking. So
you don't think Luisao leaves?
This Luisao story every other year. Every year he's going to go to Juventus. He's going to go back to Cruzeiro. He's going to go here, there. Luisao's still there. This Jardel thing going hurt out of the blue. No, I don't really read what's wrong with him. And Fiorentina, Villarreal, all these people want him. I don't know. That's a lot more fishy to me.
Here's one for you, Cristiano. My golf adventures. Mitro looks like a stiff out there, especially now without Jonas. Do you think Jimenez should start to provide more energy?
I think they're both stiffs. So pick your poison. I'm the wrong person to answer that quick. You know how I feel about Jimenez, man.
Christina, here's one for you since you were at the Tondela game. How much did you pay for your ticket?
Can't confirm nor deny that, guys.
Did you? The president gave it to him.
How much?
30 euros. I'll be honest. There was only two prices: 45 euros for the side and 30 for the behind the goal. And I chose to go with the 30, not because it was cheaper, guys, but because I could sit right next to the clock, and I decided to sit next to the No Name Boys.
Which clock was it?
No Name Boys.
Yeah. Here's and the reason why I asked you that is because Neil is asking, how do you guys feel about smaller teams like Chaves charging 30 to 40 euros per game for non-sócios? Benfica fans will pay.
Exactly, especially in the summer, guys. This is not in February. This is the summer when all the turistas are in Portugal. They'll pay 100. People just want to watch Benfica because they don't have a chance to watch them for the rest of the year. So I don't have a problem with these teams charging whatever they want to charge. Listen, they'll charge what people are willing to pay, and people pay it. They're right in charge. This is how they make their money. So I have no problem with it.
Yeah. Meg is asking, does Andre Horta look like a starter, and what did you think of his performance? I think that we've already spoken about that, but Meg, yeah, absolutely looks like a starter. Steve, you want to add?
Yeah, I just want to add a little something. Danilo was finally registered with the league today. So Andre Horta's job at starting number 8 now has a very difficult opponent there with him. I don't think Celis was ever a threat for the spot. I don't think Samaris as an 8 right now is a threat for the spot either, but I think Danilo was definitely a threat. So we'll have to watch this for the next couple of months and see how that ends up working out.
Yeah,
but
Emma asks,
me, from what we've seen, for sure he's the starter. I mean, there's no way about it. There's no two ways about it.
For me too. Emma asks, what's the best way to watch Benfica away matches online right now in the U.S.? Emma, Fubu
cannot confirm or deny.
Fubu just announced that they will be carrying the Portuguese league, but from what I understand, I don't know how much it is.
It's $19.99.
$19.99 to have the Sport TV with the Benfica.
It's no longer Sport TV. They don't have the Sport TV rights. They just have the rights to the game. So
so it's not the program. Just
you can watch every single game, and it comes out to $19.99 a month.
Right. So and from I know that NGSN was around last year. They're now defunct. They're gone. But I did speak to somebody today that there's a little buzz going on out of Holland, which is where they're from. That there's a possibility that it might be coming back, but that's still very early. Let's see. Here's one from a non-food question from Pedro Peggi. If Bernardo did return, could he play in our current formation, or would it have to be tweaked? Steve Santos.
No, I don't think it would have to be tweaked at all. I think he's still Servi's spot if he comes back, personally.
Right, you can play in Horta's spot?
I do not think he could play in Horta's spot. I don't think he's got the I don't want to know if I want to call it defensive awareness, but he does not have the lungs and the ability to backtrack and to run all over the pitch that Horta does. I do not see him as an 8, but I definitely can't see him playing Pizzi's position, Jonas's position, or Servi's position without a real problem.
Wow, Steve, we agree, bro.
Yeah. Cristiano, one from Meg. Will Rui Vitoria stick with the same 11 at home, or can you see any changes for the weekend?
Well, obviously, Luisao, I don't think will be in the lineup, so that's definitely a change right there. And then not sure about the kid Ged's playing up top. That's the only one because I think everybody else plays. That might be the only change.
Yeah. João Gomes, who's in Vila Moura, but still sending questions. João,
that's the man, yo.
João, deixa esta merda, man. E vai comer as garinas, pá. Deixa-te disso. If Luisao and Salvio leave, do you think Garay and Bernardo should come? I don't think we should bring any center defender. I think we're well served as center defender. And Bernardo, although the sentimental value will probably, I would love to have him for the sentimental value, but at this point, and like Steve just explained, it'd be kind of hard with that many wingers for Bernardo to really.
I think he'd play, but I don't think it's very reasonable. Not reasonable. Likely is the word I'm looking for. That he does come back, like Chris says. He's going to be cup tied tomorrow, and
bro, it's a wrap. Let it go, guys. Let it go. He's gone, bro. The only way you get him back is if he's an absolute
If he doesn't
flop.
play tomorrow, then there might be truth to all this. Yeah, there might be a conspiracy theory to all this stuff. But if he plays,
bro,
he was in today's press conference. Come on.
Yes, bro. The only way he comes back to Benfica, let's be realistic, is if he's an absolute flop at Monaco or
he's 35 years old.
He's not a flop.
But I'm talking about at this stage. You know,
he's
what I mean?
Not a flop.
He's not. But that's why he's not coming back. He's gonna come back to make half of what he's making at Monaco.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Here's one from our homie Pedro Resta from the Tritugas podcast.
Yes.
He wants to know if he still think that Benfica will pick up Betancourt.
I don't know about thinking, but I'm hoping. I mean, at this point, man, listen, guys.
You had him as a given about a month ago.
No, listen.
You couldn't confirm nor deny.
It's not over yet. It's not over yet. Still
You're
2
right.
weeks left. There's
You're
still
right.
2 weeks left. All right, so let's not forget.
You're
It's not over
absolutely
yet.
right.
I've seen stranger things happen. So,
Yeah, we signed
it's
to
not
that.
over. Yo, Steve, Steve, don't make me blow up your spot here on the pod, because go play that pod. You were very excited to see him play. I remember we did the pregame. The little pregame in Toronto. Oh, I can't wait to see Toronto. Oh my God. Oh, now he's a hater. Man, Steve, Carla, at least I admit. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Tu escondes aí atrás, diz que não tens câmera, não tens internet. Cala a boca.
A couple questions from Francisco Marcelin. With Luisão going away, what are your two starting center backs? And I've discussed this with the two boys from the Tritugas podcast. For you, what are the two center back choices? These love.
Jardel and Lindelof.
Jardel and Lindelof. Okay. Steve.
I love Lilo, but Jardel and Lindelof.
Given who's the coach, given what we know, Jardel and Lindelof. Me as the coach, Lisandro and Lindelof. But that's a whole other can of worms.
Steve, here's one. Should we keep Geds in the place of Jonas in the next games, or should we try something else?
Yeah, loan him.
Well, here's the thing. If you play the same formation that will give you that little bit of control with Pizzi as like the number 10, it'll give you a spot for Salvi or Carrillo to play. So you look at it that way.
But Steve, the problem.
Personally, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think Gedge plays from the start on the weekend, and we'll see how it works from there.
Steve, you can't play Mitroglou alone up top.
No.
Especially maybe at a style to lose, but not in a small pitch like that. The guy can't hold the ball, so somebody has to play alongside him. That's why they have Jonas, a guy with all the skill and the ability in the world to hold on to the ball. And maybe, listen, if not Gedge, maybe someone else. But I do think that they will play with that second striker. I think it's tough to see him switch, at least start the game with that 4-5-1 or 4-3, 2-3, whatever. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I just said, but that's okay.
It's all right. I repeated it, bro. That's what we do here. We recycle each other's stuff and we keep it moving. Don't give away our tricks.
If Steve, here's one for you. If you had to choose, would you prefer to see Rafa or Bernardo Silva?
Bernardo.
Sentimental value or
sentimental value than anything else.
Who do you think would fit best right now?
Ooh, that's a very good question. I think that they would probably be equally as good. I think Bernardo's probably the better passer of the football. I think he's probably a bit more aware of his surroundings than Rafa. Rafa's just like, he's got that really good first touch and quick turn of pace, but that really Bernardo isn't as good 1v1 as Rafa is, I don't think. But I'd still pick Bernardo. Bernardo for me is a more well-rounded player than Rafa is. So Bernardo.
We already know, Cristiano. Thanks.
Well, what are you gonna say?
Não vem, que esquece disso, pá.
Well, that's true, but I would actually go with Rafa for one very simple reason.
Diz.
He stays healthy. The other guy can't stay on the field.
Well, he's only had problems this year.
Well, he's only started
last season.
The guy's only been playing
last season.
Come on, the guy's always hurt. That's the only reason why.
Here's one from Kevin. Bleak 8-toucher. Do you think Danilo will be a key piece in the middle of the park this year?
It's too early. We haven't seen him play a minute, but he's gonna start fighting Horta for minutes. I'm sure of it. There's just the only way that you'll see them both on the pitch, I think, is if Fesa goes down and Danilo edges Samaris out of the number 6 spot, which is possible.
Aresta's with me at 19 years. There's guys that blow up at 21.
That's
so
not, you guys,
19 years old, you still got time.
Aresta and you are both clowns. You guys are totally misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm not saying
Chris is talking about touch, and the touch is there from when you're 13.
He's got touch.
It doesn't go away. He's got touch, but he doesn't have the touch.
Thank you, Steve. Steve, I could tell at a player at a very young age about the ability. Not whether he's blowing up or whether the guy can get to a certain. I'm talking about the ability with the ball at his feet. He doesn't have the recourse ability. Sorry, guys. I know you want to blow this kid up, and he's fine. That's great. Renato, as much as I love, Renato doesn't have that ability neither. I don't think I'm being negative. I don't think I'm being critical of the guy. I just don't think he has that ability. Like you said, it reminds you of Rui Costa. Yes, with the shoulder dip and the whole run. Yes, but he doesn't have the same feet that Rui Costa. He doesn't have this. Not even close, guys. But then again, like I said before, not many players have had Rui Costa's ability to touch. So
here's one from 4231 Footy, Futty. What was your favorite memory from Luisao? I think it's a little bit premature to be talking about memories, but if you want to throw one out there, is perhaps the goal he scored against Ricardo, where Ricardo closed his eyes and Luisão gave us the championship against Sporting. That's probably one of the most memorable for me.
Didn't he score one from his ass against Rui Patricio too? Or am I losing this?
No, I think you're right.
That's what I thought. He's got some good goals against Sporting for sure.
My most memorable Luis memory is when he punched the referee in the face.
No, he didn't punch him. He chest bumped him.
It was a chest bump. Yeah, in Germany.
Right. Nah, joking aside, I think it's when Luisão, and I don't think it's any one particular memory, but every time Luisão grabs his shirt and like respect, and the time he puts his heart and soul out for the shirt. To me, that's what I remember most about Luisão, is that he's a true leader. You know, my favorite, also another favorite memory of Luisão. Every time he lifts a cup. 17 times? He did that 17 times, right? Yeah. So anyway, thanks a lot for all you guys taking time to check us out. I hope that the YouTube feed improved a little bit. Thank you for the questions that everyone sent in. And I think that's it. That's all we got. We're just about at the 1 hour mark.
So next week we'll be back. We'll talk about the Setubal game, and we'll look ahead to the game after that, which is Nacional, when we travel to Madeira in the same jornada that Sporting will play Porto. So we'll hope that we can get some advantage off of one of those two teams then. But until then, we still got to beat Setubal, and we got to keep guys healthy because right now we have a lot of guys no estaleiro. Anyway, for Alfredo, Cristiano, and Steve, thank you very much. At 10CO10 is where you can find Cristiano
Follow
on
me.
Twitter.
I'm giving away Benfica gear and Arsenal gear, so I think I'm gonna get it right around the 4,000 mark. And then I'm just gonna ask all you clowns why you should be the recipient. I love you guys.
I don't know.
My favorite people, I call them clowns.
I don't know about that Arsenal gear, but
not for the Arsenal fans. Give it to them.
Yeah,
I want to get rid of it. I don't want it at home.
Yeah, that's what Pete said.
No, I actually have a signed team ball by the Arsenal, the whole team, that I'll be giving away. So
what?
Yeah. 4,000 followers, then I'll select a couple of you guys to send some stuff. So make sure you do that. Retweet.
Yeah. At Benfica Podcast, at Steve Santos 6, planetbenfica.co.uk, benficapodcast.com, on Facebook, Benfica Podcast, and all that good stuff. Thank you very much for checking us out. Apologize again for the problems that we had on YouTube, and we will be back next week, same time. Next week it's going to be tricky. I will be on vacation, but we're going to try to do this anyway. So we'll see what happens. Thank you very much. Everybody have a good week, and carrega Benfica. See you, everybody.
Ciao.